This is Max and Mia podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Max and Mia podcast.
Hi there. We're so glad you're joining us today. How's everyone doing?
That's right. We hope you're having an incredible December. Can you believe we're already approaching the end of the year?
Right? Time really flies. This is such a special time for so many people around the world.
Absolutely. Whether you're getting ready to celebrate the new year with family and friends, or just taking some time to reflect on everything that's happened this year,
We hope you're enjoying these final days of 2025. It's a great moment to slow down, spend quality time with loved ones, and maybe even think about what's coming next.
Exactly. And if you're traveling, hosting gatherings, or simply relaxing at home,
We're really grateful you've decided to spend part of your day with us here on the podcast.
so get comfortable, grab your favorite drink, and let's dive into today's conversation.
Let's get started.
So Mia, today we're talking about something that I think almost everyone loves.
Oh, let me guess. Traveling?
Exactly. Who doesn't love exploring new places, right? There's something magical about discovering different cultures, trying new foods, and seeing incredible landscapes.
I couldn't agree more. You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about all the places I'd love to visit. My bucket list just keeps growing.
Same here. What about you, Mia? Where would you love to go?
Oh, so many places. I'd love to visit Iceland for the Northern Lights, Tanzania for a safari experience, and New Zealand for those breathtaking landscapes. What are your top picks?
Great question. I'd say Japan for the blend of tradition and technology, Morocco for the vibrant markets and desert landscapes, and definitely Peru to see Machu Picchu.
Those sound incredible. See, we could go on forever.
We really could. But you know what? Now we're curious about you, our listeners.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. Which country would you most like to visit and why? What makes it special to you?
Is it the food, the history, the adventure, the people? Whatever it is, write it down in the comments.
This is actually a brilliant way to practice your writing skills in English. Plus, you might discover some hidden gems that other listeners recommend.
Who knows? Maybe someone will mention a place you've never even heard of, and it'll become your next dream destination.
So don't be shy. Share your travel dreams with us in the comments section.
All right. Now that we've got the travel bug going, let's dive into our first conversation.
Today you'll hear two friends catching up and sharing stories about a trip that, well, let's just say it didn't go exactly as planned.
Oh, we've all been there. Sometimes the worst trips make the best stories, right?
Absolutely. Now, as you listen, pay close attention to how they use different past tenses to tell their story. You'll hear the past simple, past continuous, and past perfect in action.
And keep your ears open for some really useful phrasal verbs, too. These are the kinds of expressions native speakers use all the time.
All right, let's listen to audio number 1.
Claire, I haven't seen you in ages. How was that trip to Greece you were planning?
Oh man, Ethan, where do I even start? It was a complete disaster from beginning to end.
No way. What happened?
Well, everything kicked off badly at the airport. We were running late because our Uber had broken down on the highway, and by the time we arrived, they had already closed the gate.
They didn't let you board?
Nope, we missed the flight entirely. And here's the thing, if we had left home just 20 minutes earlier, we would have made it without any problems.
That's so frustrating. What did you do?
We had to book another flight for the next day, which cost us an arm and a leg. So there we were, stuck at the airport overnight. We were trying to sleep on those uncomfortable chairs while announcements were going off every 15 minutes.
Sounds awful. But at least you eventually got there, right?
Yeah, we finally arrived in Athens the following afternoon. But then when we got to the hotel, they told us they had given away our room.
What? How is that even possible?
Apparently, because we hadn't shown up the first night, they assumed we weren't coming and sold our reservation to someone else. I was so angry. We had paid in advance.
Did they sort it out?
Eventually, but it took forever. The manager kept saying he was looking into it, but nothing was happening. Meanwhile, we were just standing there with our luggage, exhausted. If we had called ahead to explain the situation, they probably would have held the room for us.
That's terrible customer service. So where did you end up staying?
They moved us to their sister hotel across town, and I'm using the term hotel very loosely here. The room was tiny, the air conditioning wasn't working, and the walls were so thin we could hear everything from the next room.
Come on, it can't have been that bad.
Ethan, on our second night, the toilet backed up and started flooding the bathroom. We called reception, but no one picked up. We were mopping up water at 2 a.m. with towels.
Oh no, this just keeps getting worse.
Wait, there's more. The next day, we had planned to take a ferry to Santorini. We had been looking forward to that part of the trip for months, but when we woke up, we found out that all ferries had been called off due to bad weather.
You're kidding me.
I wish I were. So we were stuck in Athens with nothing to do because we had already checked out all the main sites on our first day, thinking we'd be leaving.
What a mess. Did anything good come out of this trip?
Honestly, the only silver lining was the food. We stumbled upon this amazing little taverna in a side street. The owner took us under his wing and kept bringing out dishes we hadn't even ordered. Best moussaka I've ever had.
Well, at least that's something. But man, if I had known all this was going to happen, I would have talked you out of going.
You know what, though? Looking back now, it makes for a pretty entertaining story. Plus, my boyfriend and I didn't freak out or fall apart. We actually handled it pretty well together.
That's the spirit. So, would you go back?
Maybe, but next time I'm definitely taking out travel insurance and booking with a more reliable hotel. Live and learn, right?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing that cautionary tale. I'll keep all of this in mind for my own travels.
Please do. Learn from my mistakes.
Wow, that was quite the adventure. Poor Claire and her boyfriend really went through it.
I know, right? But did you notice something interesting about how they told the story?
You mean all those different past tenses working together? It really painted a complete picture of what happened.
Exactly. When Claire said they had already closed the gate, she was using the past perfect to show that one action happened before another in the past. It creates that timeline.
And those phrasal verbs. Backed up, called off, stumbled upon. These are the expressions that make English sound natural and conversational.
Right. Native speakers use these all the time. They're much more common in spoken English than formal verbs, like saying something kicked off instead of just started.
And I loved how she used the third conditional, if we had left earlier, we would have made it. It's perfect for expressing regret about past situations.
That's such a useful structure for storytelling. It shows what could have been different.
All right, let's move on to our second conversation of the day.
This one's really interesting. You'll hear two people discussing cultural differences between their countries, specifically about family life, work culture, and celebrations.
It's fascinating to see how people from different backgrounds experience these everyday things so differently.
As you listen, Pay attention to how they compare their cultures. You'll hear comparatives of equality like as important as or not as formal as.
And watch out for those contrast connectors too. Whereas, while, on the other hand. These help connect opposing ideas smoothly.
Let's hear what they have to say. Here's audio number 2.
Sophia, I've been living here in Spain for 6 months now, and I'm still getting used to how different everything is from back home.
Really? Like what? I'm curious to hear your perspective as an outsider.
Well, the whole approach to family life, for starters. In the States, once you turn 18, there's this expectation that you'll move out and become independent. Whereas here, it seems like people stay with their parents well into their 20s, sometimes even their 30s.
That's true, but it's not because we're less independent. It's just that family bonds are incredibly strong here. We value spending time together, and honestly, it's also practical. Rent is expensive.
I get that. It's not as common back home, though. American culture really emphasizes individual independence. On the other hand, I've noticed that family gatherings here are much more frequent than what I'm used to.
Oh, absolutely. We get together for lunch every Sunday at my grandmother's house. It's just what we do. Is that not normal in America?
Not really. I mean, we see family on holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, maybe birthdays, but weekly? That's not as typical. Everyone's usually busy with their own schedules.
Interesting. What about work culture? I've heard Americans are really focused on their careers.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Work-life balance isn't quite as valued as it is here. People often work late, check emails on weekends, and taking all your vacation days is sometimes seen as, not being committed enough.
That sounds exhausting. Here, work is important, but it's not your whole identity. We have our famous siesta time, long lunch breaks, and people actually disconnect when they leave the office.
I've definitely noticed that. The pace of life here is just not as rushed. Back home, everything's go, go, go. Lunch is often something you eat at your desk in 15 minutes while answering emails.
15 minutes? That's insane. Here, lunch is a proper meal that lasts at least an hour, sometimes 2. It's just as important as dinner, if not more so.
Right? And dinner here happens so late. I'm still adjusting to eating at 10 p.m. In America, we usually eat around 6 or 7.
Yes, I have heard that before. For us, eating at 6 would feel like an afternoon snack. But tell me, what about celebrations and holidays? How do they compare?
Well, holidays in the U.S. tend to be more commercialized, I'd say. Unlike in Spain, where traditions seem more rooted in history and religion. Like, we don't have anything quite like Semana Santa or the local festivals every town has here.
Our fiestas are pretty special. Each town celebrates its patron saint with processions, music, dancing. It brings the whole community together. Is it similar with American holidays?
Some holidays do that. 4th of July barbecues, Thanksgiving dinners, but they're not as community-focused. It's more about immediate family or close friends. Whereas here, I've been invited to neighbors' houses for festivals, and I barely know them.
That's just how we are. We're very open and social. People here aren't as private as Americans tend to be, I think.
Yeah, I've picked up on that. Even casual conversations are different. Here, people ask personal questions pretty quickly about your salary, your relationships, whether you're planning to have kids.
And that makes you uncomfortable?
At first it did. In the U.S., those topics are considered quite personal. We tend to keep conversations more surface level, especially with people we don't know well. While here, it seems like nothing's off limits.
I suppose we're just more direct. We don't see those things as invasive. It's genuine interest in getting to know someone.
I'm starting to appreciate that, actually. It makes building relationships faster. On the other hand, the concept of personal space is different too. People stand closer when talking, there's more physical contact, hugs, kisses on the cheek when greeting.
Yes, we're definitely more touchy-feely. Americans seem much more reserved with physical contact from what I've seen in movies and TV shows.
That's accurate. We value personal space quite a bit. 2 kisses when greeting someone would feel really awkward back home, unless you're very close family or romantic partners.
It's funny how these small things add up to create such different experiences of daily life.
Absolutely. Neither way is better or worse, just different. I'm learning to adapt, and honestly, there are aspects of Spanish culture I prefer now.
Like what?
The emphasis on enjoying life, taking time for meals, prioritizing relationships over work. It's refreshing. Life here doesn't feel as stressful as it did back in Boston.
Well, I'm glad you're finding things to appreciate. And who knows, maybe you'll never want to leave.
You might be right about that.
That conversation really highlighted how different daily life can be across cultures, didn't it?
Absolutely. What I found most interesting was how they used comparatives of equality, not as rushed, just as important as, to make those comparisons clear and balanced.
And those contrast connectors were key. Words like whereas and on the other hand help you present 2 different perspectives without making one sound better than the other.
Exactly. It keeps the conversation respectful and thoughtful, which is so important when discussing cultural differences.
Now, before we move on to our final conversation, we want to ask you something.
If you're enjoying today's episode, it would mean the world to us if you could hit that like button. It really helps us reach more English learners like you.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do that too. We release new episodes regularly, and you won't want to miss them.
Your support keeps us going, so thank you.
All right, now for our last conversation of the day. This one's particularly special because it covers something many people experience: moving abroad for the first time.
Yes, you'll hear someone talking about their first days in a new country, dealing with culture shock, feeling lonely, and those small victories that make it all worthwhile.
This conversation is perfect for understanding the difference between used to, be used to, and get used to. These 3 structures confuse so many learners.
Right. Used to talks about past habits that you don't do anymore. Be used to means you're already comfortable with something, and get used to describes the process of becoming comfortable with something new.
Pay close attention. You'll hear all 3 used naturally. Let's listen to audio number 3.
Jasmine, how's it going? You've been in Amsterdam for, 3 weeks now?
Yeah, almost a month actually. It's been quite the experience.
I bet. How are you holding up? I remember when I moved abroad, the first few weeks were rough.
Honestly, some days are harder than others. I used to think moving abroad would be this exciting adventure from day one, but the reality is pretty different.
What's been the toughest part?
The loneliness, for sure. Back home, I used to hang out with friends almost every day. We'd grab coffee, go to the movies, just spontaneous stuff. Here, I don't know anyone yet, so I spend most evenings alone in my apartment.
That's tough. But you're getting used to it though, right? It takes time to build a social circle.
I'm trying. I joined a language exchange group last week, which helped a bit. I'm slowly getting used to putting myself out there, even though it feels awkward.
That's great. Those first steps are always the hardest. What about the city itself? How's that adjustment going?
The city is beautiful, but everything feels so different. I used to drive everywhere back in Texas. Here, everyone bikes. I bought a bicycle, but I'm still getting used to riding in traffic. It's terrifying.
Amsterdam traffic on a bike is no joke, but you'll get the hang of it. I'm used to it now, but I remember nearly getting hit by a tram my first week in Europe.
Exactly. And don't even get me started on the weather. I used to complain about Texas heat, but now I'd take that over this constant rain and cold.
Are you getting used to the weather at all?
Sort of. I bought a proper rain jacket and waterproof boots, which helps. I'm getting used to checking the forecast obsessively before leaving the house. But I'm definitely not used to the darkness yet. The sun sets at like 4 p.m.
Yeah, winter in Northern Europe is brutal for that. What about the language barrier? Is that causing issues?
Surprisingly, not as much as I expected. Most people speak English really well. But I used to rely on small talk to feel connected, like chatting with cashiers or baristas. Here, interactions are more direct and brief. I'm getting used to that different communication style.
Ah, I get that. It's a cultural thing. What about work? How's that going?
Work is actually where I'm feeling most comfortable. My colleagues are friendly and the office culture is pretty relaxed. I used to work crazy hours in my old job. Evenings, weekends, constantly checking emails. Here, people actually leave at 5 and don't work from home unless necessary.
That must be a nice change.
It is. I'm definitely used to the better work-life balance now. I don't think I could go back to my old schedule. But I'm still getting used to some office customs, like how everyone brings their own lunch instead of going out to eat.
Little things like that add up, don't they? Have you had any wins, though? Any moments where you felt like, okay, I can do this?
Actually, yes. Last weekend, I navigated the entire public transit system by myself to visit a museum. I used to panic about taking trains and buses here, but I figured it out. It was such a small thing, but I felt so accomplished.
That's awesome. Those little victories matter.
And yesterday, I had my first real conversation in Dutch with my neighbor. It was just basic stuff, but she understood me, and I understood her. I'm getting used to hearing the language, and it's not as intimidating anymore.
See? You're making progress. Before you know it, you'll be completely used to life there.
I hope so. Some days I still miss home terribly. I used to video call my family every single day at first, but now it's more like twice a week. I guess I'm getting used to the distance.
That's natural. It gets easier, I promise. And one day you'll realize you're not getting used to things anymore. You're just living your life.
That's the goal. Thanks for listening, Tyler. It helps to talk to someone who's been through it.
Anytime. You've got this.
That conversation really captured what it's like to move abroad, didn't it? All those mixed emotions.
Absolutely. And did you catch how naturally those 3 structures appeared? Used to for her old habits in Texas, be used to for things she's already comfortable with, and get used to for everything she's still adjusting to.
That's the key difference right there. Used to is about the past, things you did before, but don't do now. Be used to means you're already comfortable, and get used to is that transition period, the adjustment process.
It's one of those grammar points that makes so much more sense when you hear it in context, rather than just memorizing rules.
Exactly. And her small victories, navigating public transport, having a conversation in Dutch, those are the moments that matter when you're building a new life somewhere.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. We've traveled through some amazing conversations, from disastrous trips to cultural differences to starting fresh in a new country.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps other learners discover this podcast.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. We create these episodes to help you improve your English through real, natural conversations.
Remember, the comment section is waiting for you. Tell us which country you'd love to visit and why. Practice your writing, share your dreams, and maybe discover some new destinations from other listeners.
English is a journey, not a race. Every conversation you listen to, every new phrase you learn, brings you one step closer to fluency.
So, wherever you are in the world right now, whatever you're up to, we're glad you spent this time with us.
Take care, everyone!
And we'll catch you in the next episode.